Hello, my name is Jasmine Johnson. Today is October 4th, 2019, and this is my 24-hour recall paper. So, after reviewing everything that my client consumed, I believe his food choices, for the most part, were pretty beneficial for his overall diet. One of the items that stood out to me was the Subway sandwich that he had. The items that were listed was a veggie patty, which I feel like was a great source of protein. He also had cheese, which I think is a good source of calcium, cucumbers, lettuce, tomato, avocado. A lot of these are high in different vitamins, and I pretty much thought that that was a good choice. He also consumed Lay's potato chips with this meal, which I didn't think was that great of a food choice in regards to nutrients dense. And because this is a processed food item, and I think a lot of the nutrients is usually lost during that process. I think that my client would take in about 2,000 calories for the day. So after calculating everything up, according to MyFitnessPal, my client took in 2,476 calories. And so my client, he actually wants to gain weight. So the recommended goal for his height and weight is 2,780 calories. So my client actually needed a total of 351 calories extra throughout the day from his 24-hour recall. The carbs that my client took in, he took in a total of 383 calories. His goal was 354. So he went over 29 grams of carbohydrates. The fat total, he took in 74. His goal was 95. So he actually was under 21 grams of fat. Protein, he took in 84 grams. The recommended amount for MyFitnessPal was 106, and I'm assuming it's because he wants to gain weight. So he needed 24 grams extra according to MyFitnessPal tracker. The sugar he took in was 130. The goal was 106, so he went over 24 grams. Sodium, which I was really surprised in, he took in 2,970. His goal was 2,300. And so he went over 672 milligrams of sodium. His potassium intake, he took in 2,839. His goal was actually 3,500. So he was under 661 milligrams. His fiber intake was 46 grams. His goal was 25 according to MyFitnessPal. So, he went over 21 grams. Vitamin C, he took in about 175 grams. His goal was 100, so he went over 75%, according to what MyFitnessPal recommended. His calcium was 183. His goal was 100, so he went over 83%. And his iron was 140. His goal was 100, so he went over 40%. Are you surprised by the overall results? Yes, I was surprised by the overall results because I did not expect his sodium intake to be as high as it was based off of his diet. He went over 672 milligrams in sodium. When I reflect on his daily intake, I just did not think that his sodium would be as high as it was. And were the foods more or less nutrients dense than you thought? So when I was going over the veggie patty, I thought that was going to be high in density and protein. But when I did the calculations, which was 230 milligrams of protein by 390 kilograms or kilocalories of the veggie patty, it came out to 0.6 milligrams per kilograms. And I just thought that the protein would be a little bit higher than that. So it was way less than what I suspected. And then for the potato chips, when I calculated that, I was really surprised because potato chips were pretty high in potassium um, per kilocalorie. So the calories of the potassium was 350 milligrams, and per the kilocalories of 160 kilocalories, it was 2.9 milligrams per kilocalorie. So I was really surprised when I worked out that math and looked at the results of that. My client did meet his daily. Did my client meet his daily calorie intake? Well, his daily calorie intake was 2,780, and he only took in 2,476. So he needed about 351 more calories. So he did not meet his daily goal that is recommended by MyFitnessPal in order for him to gain 0.5 pounds per week. My client went over his sugar intake by 24 grams, and his fat intake was actually under, and he went in 21 grams more. I'm sorry. My client went over his sugar intake by 24 grams, and his fat intake was actually under. He needed 21 grams more, and his sodium intake was way too high, and he went over by 672. And according to MyFitnessPal, my client went over on the daily recommended amount of micronutrients such as vitamin A, iron, and calcium. And he needed more potassium in his daily diet, which was 2,839 milligrams, but he needed 3,500 milligrams. So after going over everything, my number one recommendation would be to reduce his sodium intake. My client took in about 2,976 milligrams of sodium for the day, and according to the FDA, U.S. Food and Drugs Administration, he should only take in a daily amount of about 2,300 milligrams of sodium. And when doing this, this will reduce his or lessen his chances of developing hypertension. So that's my number one recommendation. My second recommendation would be for my client to up his potassium. My client consumed only 2,839 milligrams of potassium, and according to the National Institute of Health, and the daily recommendation is 3,400 milligrams for males. I would suggest that he consume food high in potassium, such as potatoes, yogurts, and nuts. And lastly, my recommendation would be to watch his fiber intake. My client took in 46 grams of fiber, and according to the UCSF Health, the daily recommended amount is about 25 to 30 grams of fiber. So, and too much fiber can lead to negative effects such as bloating and gas. And if my client doesn't want to have those issues, I would suggest him stick between the daily recommendations of fiber. Hopefully you enjoyed my video and you guys have a blessed night. Thank you.